Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this episode on 3 ways to balance your ego. What is ego? In general terms, ego is your sense of the self that differentiates you from your father, mother, friend, husband, wife, or anyone else in the world. Ego creates our personal identity, the sense of I. In psychological terms, as Sigmund Freud had said, ego is that aspect of our personality that maintains a balance between our id, the subconscious and unconscious desires and demands, and the superego, the sense of right and wrong, our moral beliefs. In spiritual terms, ego is that illusion in our mind that keeps us away from realizing our oneness with all beings or the universal consciousness. Whatever the definitions may be, we ordinary human beings generally use the term ego in situations like, "Oh, I just can't get along with him. He has so much of ego. What does this girl think of herself with all her ego?" We all complain in this manner, right? And it is not without reason. If our ego is not balanced and kept under constant observation and maintenance, then we will spoil with our own hands our relationships, opportunities, mental well-being, and happiness. To live a fulfilling life, it is so much necessary to remain grounded and humble, empathetic and compassionate, flexible and adapting. And these qualities will develop only when we learn to balance our ego. To strike a balance, we need to look at our ego from various approaches. In this video, I'll be exploring the most important approach, the most deciding factor responsible for balancing our ego, and that is our response to criticism, adapting to criticism. I'm sharing with you a small episode with you first. A friend of mine got his first storybook published that I bought from the Kolkata Book Fair last year. I was truly happy for him because he is really a talented writer, and he was so excited about his first publication. However, when I started reading the book, I figured out there were a lot of printing and spelling mistakes that the publisher had made in the book. I was somewhat concerned about the fate of the book because serious readers dislike such errors while reading. Out of my concern for him, I called him up. I first started with my great appreciation for the book and how wonderful the stories were. And then I gradually moved on to the errors the publisher had made in the book. I conveyed how much I was concerned about him that compelled me to point out a few faults in the book. While discussing the flaws, I could feel his voice growing heavy. Well, since then, he gave up interacting with me altogether, except in rare occasions. Now ask yourself, are you allergic to criticism like him? Now that we are in the age of social media, we are so obsessed with getting likes and comments for our FB and Insta posts. And if a silly fellow dares to make a negative comment, then we'll do make sure either his or her mental peace is spoiled or our own. Who are we fooling at the end of the day? The more we go higher up the age ladder, our ego keeps inflating more and more. I have ranked first in class. I am the manager. I'm the owner of a business. I am the senior employee. I am the breadwinner of this family. I own a house and a car. I'm so beautiful or handsome. I'm so highly qualified. So people around me must treat me with great respect. And they better remember that I am always right. I am faultless. But when people around me refuse to accept how perfect I am, they criticize me on my face or behind my back. I feel so upset or irritated with these people. I may even stop talking to such people altogether. See, our hurt ego distances us from so many of our relations and friends. Practically, there will be almost no one in life who will satisfy your ego completely. So, will you fight with all of them and sacrifice all your relations one by one? So what can be a healthier way to respond to criticism and bring balance to our ego? So now I'll move on to suggest 3 effective ways to balance your ego. Number 1, recognize constructive criticism. If you feel the person in front of you is criticizing you for your own growth and progress with all his or her good intentions, then you should respect and honor such a person instead of feeling offended, because this person has his genuine concern and even his valuable time to think about you and your well-being, where nowadays everyone is so indifferent and busy with their own stuff. Be open to constructive criticism. Pick up and learn from the useful suggestions they give, because you'll improve with that. If you are constantly expecting sugar-coated compliments and feedback that lacks sincerity and honesty, you'll only continue to live in an illusion of perfection without making any worthwhile improvement in actual life. Number 2, recognize unhealthy criticism. If you feel a person is criticizing you with bad intentions, people are trying to demean you or mock at you, or their criticism is not true at all, then instead of feeling irritated, frustrated, angry, or sad, try to see through their wicked intentions. Develop a better understanding of their nature and tendencies. Then remind yourself of your own strengths and capabilities. And finally, choose to ignore. In real life situation, is it always possible to prove yourself and your worth to each and everyone around you? See, in real life, each and everyone will not be standing around you, unanimously applauding and appreciating you. Oh, how good you are! Don't keep waiting for appreciation from all and sundry to make you feel happy. If disparaging criticism is shot at you, you can shield yourself. If you have full clarity of your inner strengths and capabilities, choose to ignore such criticism and release the sense of hurt and irritation that primarily comes from your wounded ego. Number 3, develop self-awareness. Know it in your heart that if criticism, healthy or unhealthy, continues to bother you, makes you feel uneasy and hurt, then you need to work on your ego. You may say, okay, I understand that feeling hurt when criticized is spoiling my inner peace. But after all the wise suggestions, I continue to feel hurt when criticized. I can't get over my irritation. How can I get rid of this hurt? The answer is, first, stop trying to get rid of the hurt. Try to read your own mind, your own thoughts. Be self-aware. Think that you are watching a movie where you are the actor. Observe closely Which people and situations are hurting your ego? Identify the cause why you are feeling hurt. Every time any kind of criticism annoys or upsets you, try to figure out why that criticism is hurting you. Acknowledge and accept that you are feeling hurt and stay present with this awareness instead of trying to get rid of it right away. But then something has to be done about your mental discomfort. Here, you can do this exercise, which is actually a mindfulness exercise. Settle down somewhere, close your eyes for a few minutes. Then take a long deep breath and say to yourself mentally or loudly if possible. Breathe in deeply. I accept. I feel hurt with this criticism. Breathe out. I let go of my hurt. I am at peace with myself. Breathe in deeply. I accept. I feel hurt with this criticism. Breathe out totally. I let go of my hurt. I am at peace with myself. Practice this for a few minutes, and you will definitely feel a shift in your overall mood. You will feel light and relaxed. It is a very effective and gentle method to come to terms with your hurt if your emotions are sticky or they refuse to go. A gentle reminder before I wind up. Once you realize that it is love, compassion, friendship, and a humble attitude that can fulfill you from within, you'll stop seeing the world with the eyes of your ego and start perceiving everyone around you with the eyes of your heart. I hope you could identify with this discussion. I'll be back with more interesting episodes very soon. Dear friends, take good care of your body and take very good care of your mind. Have a beautiful day.